What's up, friends? This is Kelly with Down Home with the Hensleys, Valley Bees, and As You Go Ministry. Every time I give a intro, I don't get a lot of views, but this is from a person that wants to know how I hooked up my electric fence. I'm not an electric fence expert, but I can figure things out. So I'm going to give you a rundown. I promised her I would. I started off driving these metal T-posts in every corner. So I found the corner that I wanted. I ran a line. I started probably with this corner. I ran a line straight down to that other corner, and just to make sure I wasn't going to hit anything. And I probably would recommend that you stay far away from your beds, but my wife says she don't want to deal with the grass growing up right there, and she wanted me to get close to the beds, and she says she ain't worried about having to lean over a bed. But like I said, give yourself room, because you don't want to get popped by an electric fence. So what I did, all four corners, there's T-posts, and I figured out a spot that when you can step over this, it's no big deal, but you may have to put a wheelbarrow in here. So I found me a place right here where she said this would be all right place to go and use a wheelbarrow. So I started on this side of the fence. I made me a loop, and you can get this at the Tractor Supply, and all they are is T-post little connectors there that keep it off of the metal, wire to metal. So it kind of, I forgot what they called. They got a name, but worked third shift. Anyway, I made a loop. I made two loops. And I started from right here, and I went all the way around the bed, and I got these at the Tractor Supply. I said $1.79. They were $2.79, so I bought 40 of them, and I did not use 40. And all I did, I stepped off with my feet, eight steps. You can do more, you can do less, but every 8 steps, I put one of these right here in the ground. If you got real nice soil, you don't live in North Georgia, you don't got clay and rock, it won't be a problem. But I ran the first string all the way down, and I kind of went with the measurement from the bottom little standoff, and make sure I wasn't hitting nothing. Once I got to this corner right here, I kind of tightened it up a little bit, wrapped it around, and that held it. And I went all the way around the garden twice. So I did it with both strands. You can do as many strands as you want to, but you're going to have to, here in a little bit, I'm going to show you, you have to connect it together. And I'll do some editing. I'm going to go right here. All right, I'm back to where we started. So when I got here, this is where we started from right here. I walked all the way around. I didn't really walk all the way around, but just say I did. I got to this point right here. This is going to be my door, where I can put a wheelbarrow in here. I wrapped that wire around where it'll hold it tight from this point, and I run it to these things, you can get them at Tractor Supply as well, or your local farm supply store. I hooked it to that, and what that does is you can unhook it, so now it's not charged right there. You can get through it, and it's spring loaded, so it's got some tension on it. These things have got springs on it. So we got that. We got the wire run, but you're going to have to connect both of these strands. So this right here is a solar charger that I had from my fence for the chicken. I got a mess of a fence up there that we really don't use. I used it for meat chickens when I had a chicken tractor. I used to pull that around the yard, pull it around the field over there. And you gotta have this thing grounded. This right here's got its own little ground stake. I got the ground connector to the stake. Really, the best thing to do is go get you a ground rod, and you got to drive it in the ground and hook your ground. It's got to be grounded or it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. So I got the ground hooked up to a stake. It's in this box. This right here should be facing south where the sun, you get more sun that way, I guess. That's the way I've been doing it. And there's different solar chargers. I mean, there's different chargers. You don't have to be solar. You can hook it up to power from the house, but there's another little energizer thing that you use for that. And bad thing about that, you have to either run a drop cord or you got to run wire to your garden. So I've got this solar charger, the sun. It does real good. And you get your hot wire. I'm going to show you. Hope you don't fire me up. See here. Okay, it's working. But anyway, what I did, I ran a separate piece of wire, and I hooked it from this wire, and I jumped it to this wire, and I hooked my power wire to it. It sounds like it's complicated, but it really ain't. This wire that I got, it's a 17 gauge wire. It's galvanized, it won't rust. They got different stuff you can get. You can get braided like wire. It's got a little bit of I guess poly braid wire with a little bit of metal in it. But my wife don't want color. She don't want you don't want to look tacky. So I'm gonna tell you what, she'd probably paint those little offset things right there. But yeah, she's a little difficult. But what I do, I said the power goes on the fence. It's connected. There's a wire connected to both strands. If you got to have 3 strands, you have to bring that wire and connect it here, so all of it be energized. So it's not that difficult. You got to run your wire all the way around. I did 2 strands. You can do a top strand if you want. I found out the dogs were going in the middle, so this right here works. It lit my dogs up. Bruno ran to Nana's house, my mother-in-law's, and wasn't gonna come back. And poor old Josie, she done it twice. Once I feel bad. I kind of coached her, just let her know, hey, don't touch it. And she yapped and yapped and yapped and cried. But the second time she done this morning, her own fault. She put her nose to it, and believe me, she cried. And I know this is long, and if this didn't make sense, I'm sorry. Like I said, well, all I do, you run your wire all the way around the place that you want to guard. And remember, you got to have a pretty tough corner. So I use metal T-post, and I use these insulators is what they're called. And they'll snap on to the T-post. You can get them at the Tractor Supply. And that right there is pretty stout. And to keep it all straight, I ran a line with just, this one's right here still on there, where I can have me a decently straight fence. It may not be totally straight, but it's straight enough for me. And these things right here, pretty good deal. And I've seen it deter some cats. The guineas, I don't know, the feathers on them are pretty tough. The guineas walked right underneath it and they touched it, and it didn't look like it shocked them, but it eventually probably popped them. So that's how I done my electric fence. And this is a longer video than normal, but you know what? You got to get it all in. And you can get these solar chargers at your Tractor Supply too. Not that brand. That brand's that's a little bit higher dollar solar charger, but the ones that you get at the Tractor Supply for, I think they're like $100.